Yes, welcome to Go Along Live with Very Long the Second. I am Very Long the Second. Glad to be with you on this Friday. It's been a long week. Hopefully, y'all had a wonderful week. It's finally Friday. It's finally most of y'all weekend. Some of y'all just start your week with working today or tomorrow. Some of y'all work only weekends, but I appreciate everybody for tuning in on CoachellaValley.com. We are also on today's California.com. We are also on today's Canada.com. A-Wade will not be with us today, but it's all good because we have a very, very special guest that's going to be joining us live here in just a couple minutes. I'm wearing my Ravens gear for a specific reason. We're going to be joined by Ravens superfan, Captain Defense. Yes, that man right there. Y'all probably seen him in commercials. You probably seen him on TV, on NFL Network. You probably seen him anywhere, man. He's everywhere. So Captain Defense will be joining us live here shortly, and I am very, very excited. I have a refrigerator magnet that Captain Defense sent me because we're in the Ravens Nation fan group together on Facebook, and that's my go-to. Like every time we're down, we're losing, it's not looking too good for us. That's when I run up and I I go and grab my Captain Defense refrigerator magnet, and we make a play. For some reason, we always make a play. But yeah, Captain Defense will be joining us live shortly, right here on Go Long Live with Barry Long 2. Don't forget the 2. Now, and remember, you can comment live to us, and we will pop your comment up here from Facebook, and you can interact with us during the show. We want to thank Craig Campbell once again for allowing us to have this platform. Now, I hope everybody is staying away from the crates, not doing the crate challenges. I hope everybody is staying safe. When it comes to this Delta variant, it's very serious. We got a new Lambda variant that's on the way. So COVID dropped another remix. So y'all better definitely wear your masks. If you're not vaccinated, make sure that you go out there and get vaccinated. At least Pfizer is now FDA approved. So go and get your vaccination. Stop being hard-headed. We all want to go back to doing everything normal the way we had it before COVID came. And I'm pretty sure that if the numbers keep rising, they're going to keep, putting the restrictions down. So we've seen other countries have locked back down. They're locked down in Australia. They locked down in New Zealand. We don't want the same thing to happen here in America. Now, so let's talk some sports. But before we do, we always got to show you a meme of the day. And memes don't always have to be funny. Sometimes memes can be good. Sometimes they can be funny. This is pretty funny. My toxic trait, I wake up on time, but I lay in bed until I'm late. How many people does that happen to? That happens to me sometimes. And then this is a good meme that I saw, a positive meme. Shaq had a deal with Reebok worth $40 million over 5 years. One day he was stopped by a mom for having overpriced shoes for children. That day he cut his ties with them, no pun intended, and he said, keep the money, this ain't right. Now, I was one of the strongest critics of Michael Jordan because of the price of tennis shoes. And if you know me for a while, I've always talked smack about Michael Jordan and the price of tennis shoes. Because before Michael Jordan came into the game, tennis shoes were like $20, $25. You had that Converse weapons, you had some Chuck Taylors, but nobody was pricing tennis shoes $100 more. And Mike Jordan came into the game, and all of a sudden, tennis shoes got sky high. Now you have guys dropping tennis shoes, Kevin Durant's tennis shoes, Steph Curry's tennis shoes, $250. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. So yeah, I wasn't one of Michael Jordan's biggest critics about the price of tennis shoes. You had guys like Stephon Marbury, who came out with his own brand. It called it Starbury and made it like $10, $14.99 or something like that. But yeah, I mean that's just one of those things that Michael Jordan, he definitely did change the shoe game, and he definitely did make it so that guys can monetize their shoe deals. And now we're starting to see other sports. They're going to get big shoe deals. Patrick Mahomes just got a big shoe deal worth a lot of money. So maybe we start seeing guys have some very, very popular cleats. Now, this is Selena Elman. She says, hi, Coach B. Now that I am a coach out here, I coach multiple sports. Baseball is my main sport that we coach, but I coach baseball, softball, football, basketball, you name it, I coach it. And look, they This is live TV. We apologize for the technical difficulties. But yeah, they had to ban the zone in the league that I coach. So I coach, I coach little boys. They were like 6 and 7 years old at the time. And they had to ban the zone because I thought, why is everybody running man to man? These kids are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I put up a zone, and we started blowing teams out like 54-8, and they banned my zone at the parents' meeting. It was terrible. But yeah, shout out to Selena. I coach her son, obviously, or daughter. But yeah, Coach B is on the prowl. Now, let's talk about some serious basketball news before we jump into football, before we are joined by Captain Defense, who is standing by, waiting for us. So excited to have Captain Defense. Just show y'all a picture of him one more time so y'all know who this man is. Y'all know who he is. Y'all see a picture of him, y'all know who he is. He's got those camo purple pants with all the Captain Defense gear on. I love it. He'll be joining us shortly. And Herb Lemonuser says hello, my friend. Hello to you as well, Herb. Now, if you all are familiar with Rachel Nichols from NBA The Jump, she's on ESPN. Well, she was on ESPN. ESPN has just announced that they are going to get rid of her, relieve her of her duties at ESPN when it comes to the NBA and any other programming. They are also going to get rid of the show NBA The Jump that she created and hosted. So just very, very, sad news out of the ESPN NBA world. If you know anything about this story that's been surrounding Rachel Nichols, she had some very unfortunate incidents happen to her while being at ESPN. Now, before the Maria Taylor incident, which I'll tell you about here in a second, there was an incident with Jimmy Butler. Now, there's a rumor going around that she supposedly slept with Jimmy Butler in the NBA bubble, and that ESPN found out about it and didn't like it, and it made them look bad. And then on the flip side, there was a report that Jimmy Butler was in the bubble, and he was there was a security threat in his hotel room. And when security got there, they heard a lot of thumping, a lot of loud noises. And when they arrived, he was dripping in sweat, like Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter at the free throw line. And they said, what's going on, Jimmy? And Jimmy said that he was dribbling a basketball really hard, really fast, and that's why he was sweating in the middle of the night. Well, there are multiple reports that during some altercations Jimmy Butler's had on the court, other players have alluded to the fact that he needs to go and sleep with Rachel Nichols again, or go call Rachel Nichols, or go do this with Rachel Nichols. So it has been circulating out there for a while. Then we know that Rachel Nichols also got caught up on being recorded on a secret recording, talking smack about Maria Taylor, who was an announcer / reporter for ESPN, an African-American one. And, she just had some issues, saying that the reason the girl got the job for the NBA to cover the NBA finals was because of their lack of diversity and their merit on their diversity issues. So she's basically saying that Maria Taylor wasn't qualified based on her skill, and that ruffled a lot of feathers the wrong way. People, were very critical of Rachel Nichols on Twitter. She even had to go out and make a public apology. So we knew that her time to ESPN was coming to an end pretty shortly, but we didn't know it was going to come this soon. They have officially announced that they will not have her moving forward anymore on TV. And it comes at a time where they also, relieved Max Kellerman of his first take duties. Now, they have a new guy who is the director of, I guess, the TV programming right there at ESPN, and he just wants to infuse some new blood in. So he's made some changes. And, anytime you get a new boss at any job, even if you work at Costco, a new Costco manager comes in there, they're gonna like to shake some things up and try to put the people in position of power that they feel they need to be. But Rachel Nichols, after a few controversial things that's happened to her, she is no longer going to be on ESPN. Now, in other NBA news, some real actual NBA news happening on the court. Lou Markkinen, the stretch 4 7-foot power forward that the Chicago Bulls have had the last few years. He's a very good free throw shooter, very good 3-point shooter. Just had a lot of injuries, and never really reached that potential that the Chicago Bulls fans wanted to see from him. But they have officially traded him, and he is now a part of the Cleveland Cavaliers roster. And it comes at a time where they added some really good pieces. They added Lonzo Ball, they added DeMar DeRozan, they got Alex Caruso. So they're making some moves, and he just wasn't in the plans moving forward. They do have Vucevic as their starting center. So when it looks, when you look at who's gonna be their big men, they definitely have Vucevic to hold down the rim protecting and the rebounding. But yeah, Markkanen was just a guy who a lot of Bulls fans were frustrated with. The injuries over the last 3 seasons. And so we see him go and join a core group in Cleveland that has Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. They got the number 3 overall draft pick this year, Evan Mobley. So we might see them, Cleveland start to get a little bit better with this move if Markkanen can reach his full potential. But yeah, the Bulls are moving forward, and the Bulls are really trying to transition into the Zach LaVine becoming a star. And we might see, that actually happened with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I think Lonzo Ball dishing the ball to him is going to be a really nice thing to see. And then you got a defense from Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is one of the best defenders in the league when it comes to perimeter defending. So it should be interesting to see what the Chicago Bulls do. But we knew that when they made all these moves during the free agency that they weren't going to be able to keep Markkanen, and it is just a shame. But now, moving on, also, one last thing, Coach Mike Budenholzer from the Milwaukee Bucks, who just recently won a championship, has now recently won in life. He just signed a 3-year deal to remain the coach of the Bucks. The terms have not been released. We will let you know how much money he's making when we know, when we find out. But it comes at a time where he thought that he was going to be not the coach this year if the Milwaukee Bucks weren't able to win the championship. He was on the hot seat for much of the entire season. Then he got on the hot seat during the playoffs when they went down 0-2 to the Brooklyn Nets, when they were tied 1-1 with the Atlanta Hawks. Everybody was calling for this man's job. Everybody and their mom was calling for this man's job. And he just rode the course, stayed the course, and he eventually, got his team to win that victory and win that championship. And it's just a great thing to see a guy who was thinking about, maybe where am I going to be working next year? Where am I going to have a job next year? Because it's certainly not going to be here, for him to get this opportunity to win a championship and then to re-up on that deal. And he's going to be there for the next 3 years. It's certainly a great thing. And he's a good coach, with a good coach with a terrible last name. Budenholzer? Oh, my God. Kids in high school are mean. I'm not going to say what I think that they probably said, but you can put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, shout out to Coach Budenholzer. All right, now, without any further ado, we are going to just hop right into this. Now, this guy is in the NFL Hall of Fame. He is widely recognized as the number 1 super fan of the Baltimore Ravens franchise. I mean, this guy's been on the field. He's had players at his house. And he's just widely recognized as that man. But we are joined now live by Captain Defense. Captain, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. And how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. It's good to see some Raven love on the feed.
Yes. Been a while.
We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today's California.com, as well as today's Canada.com. Now, I just wanted to, bring you on the show and kind of ask you a few questions about different things. Now, what is it like to be the most recognizable Ravens fan in the franchise, in franchise history?
Well, it's kind of pretty cool because I'm a people person and I like energizing with fans, and I get my energy from people. Sometimes I go places I'm tired, but once I get there, I get my energy. So I really like it, and it's a pleasure. It really is.
Now, aren't you in the Canton Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, they had like a Visa Hall of Fame in 2002. I went in. I went into Visa Hall of Fame in 2002, and I went into ESPN's inaugural class in 2012, which went across all sports. It was some hockey fans, a softball player, and me went into the initial class, and I have a plaque on ESPN's campus right there when you walk to the cafeteria. But that was pretty impressive.
So you said it was a couple of other sports fans, and you were the only football fan that year.
Yes.
So you're knocking on the door being the most recognizable football fan. More so than you got. Well, you got guys like this is how I try to describe it to somebody. You got guys like they like Fireman Ed, who the JETDS.
Right.
You're kind of our Fireman Ed, but more
Right.
famous.
Okay.
And all my family in Baltimore is very excited. I told them about you being on the show. We have a comment real quick. Kevin Pleasant, he says Steeler Nation. So he is obviously showing some hate on the low. Now, Captain Defense. Now, how do you feel about this division? This is going to be one of those years where I think the division might send 3 teams to the playoffs. How do you feel about our division this year? Because the Browns look good and the Steelers look good also.
Well, nothing against the Steeler fan, but I think it's going to be probably a 2-team, possibly 3. I think Cleveland is going to be a team to recognize with. I think they probably got the most talent roster on paper, but as you well know, papers don't win games. With Odell coming back, Myles Garrett, they picked up Klein. The defense is going to be awesome. I know they had a few injuries in the secondary, but I think it's going to be a 2-team, possibly 3-team. But in December, that's when it's going to be settled. When we play that Cleveland, I think twice in a 3-game stretch.
Yeah,
I think that's where the division is going to be decided. But I think it's going to be a 2-team race for sure, possibly a 3.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of the Steelers fans are excited about Najee Harris, but we know the problem with them is that O-line. So we'll see what that O-line can hold on. If you don't have an O-line, you got no line.
Well, because Bill Waven is gone, Pouncey retired, and that other guy, DeCosta, he's gone.
Yeah.
So they got to revamp. I don't care how well you run the ball. If you got no O-line, you're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. So now what Ravens are you excited about watching this year? Like what guys are you thinking, the guys that have been on the roster maybe a few years, somebody that you think is going to really break out and become a household name?
I think this is the year when J.K. Dobbins, when he's going to be a dual threat back, because obviously the point of emphasis this year is throwing it to the backside of the backfield. And I think J.K. is going to have a pretty good year between passing and running the ball. So I'm really looking for him. And I think Gus Edwards is going to have a good year also. We might have 2 running backs over 1,000 yards. Possibly.
Just a bust. Wow. and a quarterback over 1,000 yards. That would be something. That would be something else.
Well, no, I think Lamar's going to run less. I think.
Okay.
He's going to run, but I think he's going to run less.
Okay. Kevin Pleasant is quite active right now. He says he thinks all 3 of us will make the playoffs, and he says Dobbins a beast.
Right.
Yeah, Dobbins is definitely a beast. J.K. Dobbins, no, just kidding. This guy is a beast. Yeah. And I think that, I agree with you. Now, which rookie are you excited to watch this season?
Which rookie?
Mm-hmm.
My man from Penn State. I always, at 99, I think sometimes people overestimate sacks, but I watched him at Penn State, and he was getting pressure on the quarterback. They didn't show up in sacks, but he was always there, and he got one of them J.J. Watt motors, keep on running, chase the guy across the field, run him down the field. He never gives up on the play. So he's got a high motor, and look for him to have a big game. Not so many sacks maybe, but I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and teams going to have to know where he's at.
Yeah, absolutely. And our defense is getting a little bit older now. We know in certain places, certain positions. So it's time to kind of like turn that corner and win this year.
Right.
Now, do you think Lamar Jackson is able to get it done this year in the playoffs?
Yes.
He's being able to get it done during the regular season, but we saw him. He took that step last year. He beat Tennessee in the playoffs, but we saw how he struggled in Buffalo. Do you think that this year he's able to finally get it done?
Well, I think he's going to have to get passing better outside the numbers.
Okay.
Because he's pretty good inside the numbers, and what happened is teams know that, so they shrink the field, right? They shrink the field because they know he's not going out. And what happened is the Ravens face the lowest man-to-man coverage because defense backs don't want to put that back to Lamar because Lamar's run down the field. But I think he's going to get better. And if Hollywood can stay injury-free, I think he's going to step up also. And yes. Mark Andrews would be Mark Andrews. But watch out for that tight end we got from Jacksonville. Watch out.
Absolutely.
I think Lamar's going to hit him. Lamar's going to get him involved also.
And we've seen Lamar with his tight end game. He's been, that's the main person that he throws the ball to on the field is the tight ends. And the wide receivers have been the least amount in the NFL the past 2 seasons. Him throw to the wide receivers a little bit more. Now, do you think that Rashad Bateman will be a factor this year, our wide receiver that we picked up in the first round?
Yeah, I think the thing I noticed about Rashad Bateman.
Oh, hold on, Captain. We got you. We got some. We had an issue with you. We'll bring you
Okay,
right back. All right, so there you are. Sorry, this is live TV. We're live on CoachellaValley.com,
okay,
today's California.com, and today's Canada.com. Live with Captain Defense, super fan, the most recognizable NFL fan out there. Now, I asked you before we got disconnected. I asked you, how did you feel? How do you feel about Rashad Bateman? Do you feel like he's going to be a factor this season? We know that he's gotten a little injury going on earlier in training camp, but do you feel like he will be a factor at all?
Well, I think he'd be a factor because what I like about he's not that fast, but if the play calls for 10 and a half yards, he'll run at 10 and a half. He won't cut it short. He won't. He runs some nice, crisp routes. So
Yeah.
wherever the route calls for, he'll be there, and that's what I like about him. And sometimes that's more effective than speed. Somebody who knows how to make the cuts, know where they're supposed to be, and run the correct route when because the quarterback can throw the ball before he makes that cut because he know Bateman's going to be there.
Yeah.
So he's a great route runner.
Yeah, you want to have confidence in a great route runner. Like, yeah, as soon as he lets go of that ball, he's got to be there, or else that confidence that the quarterback will have in him will be like a broken tooth.
Right.
Yeah, you scared to bite down.
Right.
So Captain Defense, throughout all these years of you being the most recognizable fan, you've gotten a lot of cool experiences that come along with it. I think you told me one time Ed Reed was in your basement.
Yeah, they had Ford had like a Pro Football Hall of Fame, so they invited somebody to the house. Well, when they was doing the interview, I didn't know Ed Reed was coming. Right, I'm sitting in my living room talking, and they knock on the door, and there's Ed Reed at the door. Right.
Wow.
And so he came into the house. The funniest thing, he came into the house, and he was downstairs, and I called my wife, and my wife said, and he asked, "Do you know this is?" She says, "Ed Reed." Like, why is Ed Reed in that house? I'm like,
that's awesome.
It's not every day you have Hall of Famers in the house, so that was a unique experience because I didn't know he was coming. That was for Ford Motor Company.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Captain Defense, before we let you go, I just want to get your honest opinion on who's going to win the Super Bowl. Who's going to play in the Super Bowl against the Ravens?
It's going to be us and the Rams.
The Rams, I like that pick. They got a really good defense too.
Yes, I think Jared called for do it. I'm not a big Matt Stafford fan, but I think the Rams going to do it because Aaron Donald said if he don't win a Super Bowl, like basically with him in this sport. So it's like all or nothing for the Rams.
Yeah, and I think the Matt Stafford pickup was pretty good, and they lost Cam Akers, but they just went out and got Sony Michel from the Patriots to kind of solidify that running game. So man, look out for the Rams. I like that pick, that pick, Captain D. But yeah, Captain Defense, we appreciate you for joining the show. Hopefully, we can have you back throughout the season. Because once the season gets going and the Ravens start winning, we're gonna need you, man.
Yes, like I tell the fans all the time. I said, if you can't handle the fan roller coaster, don't get on it because it's got ups and downs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Captain Defense. We appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Man, Captain Defense. Y'all don't even know. As a Ravens fan, like that guy is everything to me. And for him to join the show is just awesome. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, as well as today's Canada.com. Man, Captain Defense got my jersey all wrinkled up, got me all flustered and discombobulated. But so Captain Defense joining the show. Very, very excited. And NFL football is starting soon. We are so happy that it is starting soon. You can comment with us live here. As Craig Campbell did, go long live with host Barry Long too. It's an interactive new live sports news show. We like to cover everything. We talk about whatever's going on the field and off the field. We like to talk about whatever's going on. So before we go any further, I want to just really jump into. I've told y'all who I thought was going to win each division in the NFL. Now this year we have three wild card teams. Okay, so you're not going to have the traditional 6 teams in the NFL playoffs like you've had before. Muhammad Robin says hi. Shout out to Muhammad Robin. Tuning in from Canada, I believe. We are on today's Canada.com as well. But yeah, keep the comments rolling in. Tell me some of your sports opinions. I want to know so I can shoot them down or I can boost them up. But yeah, so we got 3 teams on each side of the wild card division. And on the NFC, I had the Dallas Cowboys winning, the Rams winning their division. I had the Packers winning the NFC North, and I had the Bucks winning the NFC South. But I am putting the 49ers in as one of my wild card teams. I am also, because I do believe that that defense is ready. I love Kyle Shanahan as a play caller. I really do think that front seven is hungry. You got Bosa coming back from injury, so we should be able to see him be effective. I don't know if he'll be as effective as he was when he originally got into the league. I think sometimes it takes those kind of injuries a year or two for you to find your footing and really have confidence when you take a step left, when you make a cut. So I feel like, but I feel like this team has enough pieces around, a great core, a great culture in the locker room, and I feel like they'll do enough to make it to the playoffs. Maybe that 7th wild card team, but they'll be in the playoffs. I also believe that the Seattle Seahawks will be in the playoffs as well. I think that Russell Wilson, and this is a very interesting division because the same thing that we're seeing happen with the 49ers, with their quarterback situation, we don't know whether it's going to be Jimmy G or whether it's going to be Trey Lance. The same kind of situation happened with the Seattle Seahawks many years back when you had Russell Wilson and Matt Flynn, and we didn't know who was going to start between those two. So the Seahawks brought in Matt Flynn from Green Bay. They paid him a whole bunch of money. They drafted Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson becomes a star in the locker room, a star in training camp, and a star in the preseason. And the writing's on the wall. You have to start Russell Wilson. And now Russell Wilson has been the starter since day one. And we don't even know if Matt Flynn, I don't even know if Matt Flynn, where he's at right now. He could be coaching high school football somewhere. He could be bagging groceries. Who knows? But at the end of the day, this was Russell Wilson's team when he stepped on to that field. And Trey Lance, we're getting a lot of reports that the 49ers are in a very similar situation that the Seahawks were in back then. But yeah, I do have the Seahawks making the playoffs. I think that this team is so stacked. It just is unfortunate that the Los Angeles Rams are even more stacked on defense and offense. But yeah, I feel like they'll be the one of the first wild card teams in. And my bold prediction of this season is the Saints. I love Jameis Winston being named the starter today for the New Orleans Saints. I think that Taysom Hill is a great player. Okay, Kevin Pleasant has a comment. He says Trey Lance not ready. Jimmy gives him the best chance to begin the season. I think Jimmy gives him a good chance to begin the season. He knows the playbook better. He's been a little bit more accurate than Trey Lance, but I feel like once they get to winning time and later on in the season and you start thinking about the playoffs, you're going to want a guy who you trust with the ball in his hands to improvise, to make great plays, to do stuff that Pat Mahomes can do, what Justin Fields will show you he's able to do. Jimmy Garoppolo is just limited in his ability. That's why he only threw 6 passes when they made it to the Super Bowl. But I definitely think Trey Lance is the future. But yeah, maybe Jimmy is a more safer choice right now because he knows the playbook and his familiarity with Kyle Shanahan. But yeah, I like the Saints naming Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback today. I think Taysom Hill should still be on that roster. I think he should still, be in the mix, bring him in and do some of the things that he did when that, you should definitely allow him to do some stuff and bring him in, bring him back in different scenarios and catch the defense off guard, and maybe he'll get a couple touchdown passes that way. But I feel like Jameis Winston is a thrower of the football. He is a leader of men. He just needs to know how to protect the football, and he'll be a good quarterback moving forward. But I think that the relationship with Sean Payton is definitely going to be a great one, and it'll be exciting to see what Jameis Winston can do in that division where he left his team or his team left him, and he had to watch them go on to win a Super Bowl. But with that being said, we're having some technical difficulties right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and call it a show, and thank everybody for tuning in. Thank everybody for commenting on the show. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're gonna have good guests like Captain Defense. We thank Captain Defense so much for tuning in and being with us. We thank you for commenting, and we just want to make sure you guys moving forward this week, FMI, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired. And we appreciate everything that you do. And remember that you're capable of doing anything. So go out and do it. It's been another episode of Go Long Live with Very Long too. Thanks for tuning in.